Okay, and then what is one common misconception about sister locks that you're tired of hearing?
Oh my gosh, so many.
We are tired.
Sister locks does not take your hair out, okay?
Yeah.
And it does not cause any additional tension. Simply because sister locks is your hair, okay? Number one, let's address the tension part. The sister locks, when we retighten, yes, we take it to the scalp, but we are instructed never to do it too tight. The scalp should not buckle when you get your hair retightened, and you shouldn't need to take, say, medication to get through it, okay? It should not leave tension bumps. It should not be uncomfortable for you, all right? Now let's address the taking the hair out, so to speak. No, sister locks doesn't take your hair out. See, sister locks is nothing like, say, an extension or a wig or weave. Sister locks doesn't add any extra weight to your hair because it uses just your hair. So the hair on top of your head, your scalp, it knows how to handle that. Your scalp can handle your hair without any problem. Even if it's locked, it doesn't make it. This is so small and lightweight that it doesn't add any extra weight to the hair. See, with traditional locks, I know that people will say, well, with traditional locks, if they're too big, then they become heavy. Yes, and you know why? Because with traditional locks, you are using product. You're using lock-it-up gel, beeswax, shea butter, whatever you're using. You're adding product to the hair, which causes buildup, which causes the lock to weigh more, which makes it heavier and causes tension on the hair. Now, you can have locks that are too big, but you know what that means? That means that person's density was low and that lock was too heavy and the hair came out. Density meaning thickness. With this, not at all. This is a true lock. I'm not using any product at all. I'm not spraying. See how I'm not using a spray bottle with water? Because wet hair is harder to tighten. And what happens to your hair when it's wet? It becomes heavy, doesn't it? So while I want to saturate this hair and then start to rotate it, it's fragile and it's heavy. No, we don't do that. This is a dry service completely.
And I would say, you correct me if I'm wrong, the only times you should be wetting your hair, obviously when you have to wash it, and also when you have to style it,
Setting it.
and that's the only two reasons that I can think of right now. And also when you're wetting it, you're styling it, obviously if your locks aren't locked, you shouldn't be doing styles that require wet.
No, you should not, because remember, with the moisture, we want to stay away from moisture in the beginning to allow the locking process to occur. If we're too busy misting our hair and putting mousse and setting lotion and using all these different rollers to style our hair, then we're disrupting that process. There are plenty of dry styling techniques you can use to achieve the desired style that you want. If you want curls, guess what? You can go get some nice black sponge rollers, or the flexi rods. You can roll it without using product and it will still curl. You know why? Because it's your hair. Just like before you get locks, and just so you have an afro and you twist that afro, you twist a portion of your hair and untwist it without putting product on it. Leave it in. Guess what? When you take the twist out, it's wavy. You didn't even have to use water.
What, in your perspective as a consultant, is the difference between sister locks, interlocks, and microlocks? And then what are your opinions on them?
OMG. Interlock, microlocks, and sister locks, right? Mm-hmm. Interlock is a technique. Microlocks is a different part. Well, I wouldn't say it's a different parting style. Some people are using the grid to do their microlocks, but in my opinion, microlocks are small, traditional locks. Sister locks and microlocks are not the same. They're trying to be like sister locks. It's kind of like microlocks, in my opinion, are step-sister locks, because they're not small, or they shouldn't be.
And some of them are, from what I'm starting to see on like social media. And then to my knowledge, the biggest difference I know is that they use a completely different tool. point that out for sure, because I don't know, microlocks, you don't need to be licensed or anything like that, do you? I just know a lot of people self-start them. Whereas a sister lock consultant, a registered one who is lying about it, has taken extensive classes, and they are only the people who have access to get the sister lock tools, as well as the sister lock rotations and other things that are trademarked.
The training.
Yeah. Anyone, if you get any locks that you're happy with, like, good for you. But I think, like, it's kind of,
this is trademark.
yeah, it's rude to like not acknowledge that a sister lock consultant has gone through a lot in order to be able to establish and maintain your hair, is what I'm trying to say. And I think people should respect it for that reason, but that doesn't mean that you have to disrespect other forms of locks.
No, there's all types of locks.
Yeah.
I'm not putting one lock down. I've seen micro locks similar to sister locks, but they're not sister locks. I'm not sure what technique they're using, because I was, like Imani said, I was trained in a particular way. There are 4 different locking patterns. There's 3 different parting sizes. Do I know if Microlocks is following that? Absolutely not. This thing is intricate. This technique is very detailed from beginning to end, over how many locks should be horizontal, how many locks should be vertical, what the sections should look like, how the sections connect to each section, how it lines up to the bridge of your nose, to your eyes. Sister locks is more than just throwing some locks in someone's head that are small. It's a certain number, like I say, that you have to have vertical and horizontal in order for the parting sizes to be of sister lock standard. From my knowledge, when I speak to different natural hair stylists, they tell me that micro locks are just a smaller version of a traditional lock, and it gives the customer or the potential client another option than sister locks if they don't want to spend the money, or if they don't have that in their budget. Say, gosh, I would like the little bitty, the smaller locks like the sister locks, but the startup fee is too much for me, or maybe I don't want to spend that much time retightening, maybe I don't want to come in as often for my maintenance. Well, okay, let's put you in between sister locks and traditional locks. Let's offer micro locks. Just because they're the same size does not mean they were installed in the same manner. You might say, oh, I have the same look, but you may not have the same versatility. You know?
But can you use a flat iron and curling iron on sister locks, and should you?
Okay, can we make this a twofold type of thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The flat iron, and let's talk about color a little bit too. First of all, I will address that flat iron question. You can, but I do not recommend it. I think it is a mistake because it is a form of thermal straightening. You are altering the structure of the hair permanently when you start using flat irons on the hair. What you're doing is you are taking that hair, or taking those locks, and you are pressing them, applying heat to them, and what you're doing over a period of time is you are killing the elasticity of that hair in the same manner that you would have if you had a relaxer. And when I say kill the elasticity, that means that the hair is lifeless and it's limp. It does not hold curl, okay? It just lays there.
Oh, and before I forget, before we move on to color, another question people ask before getting their sister locks installed is, can you install sister locks on relaxed hair?
No, absolutely not. I can only install sister locks on the hair that is in its natural state. Now, if you're letting your hair grow out and you have relaxed ends, but the base or the roots of your hair is not relaxed, the only part I can lock are the roots that are not relaxed. So therefore, you have 2 hairstyles on your head. You'll have locks here, and then you have relaxed hair on the end. So because you have 2 different states, you will have to treat them differently, which again will retard the locking process. Because what you're going to want to do to your relaxed ends, that will never go back because they are permanently altered, because that relaxer opened up the hair shaft, it changed the molecular structure of the hair, and permanently it will no longer be curly or kinky like the rest of your hair. You are either going to have to use a curling iron or some rollers, but then you have to make sure you don't disturb the natural hair that's right below it. Oh, color. Yes.
Yeah.
You can color if you like. Just remember, color is more than just Kool-Aid, it's more than a crayon, it's more than some paint. It is a chemical reaction, the same as a relaxer. Trust me, it is. I don't care if it says semi-permanent. It's got to open up that hair shaft. It's got to change the molecular structure of the hair in order for the color to take. If you want to color, that's fine. I just recommend that you don't do it yourself and that you don't color often. So therefore, if you're doing that, you need to go to a professional. Let them use professional strength products on your hair, somebody who truly understands color, because they're going to be able to match it up with your skin tone. They can tell you what's going to happen. To go from black like this and just go and lift the hair to a bright red, that's going to cause some damage. Definitely going to cause some damage if it's not done by a professional with professional products who can monitor the hair and tell you what you can do realistically. Your hair will dry out the same as it would if you had a relaxer. You will have to add extra moisture to that hair. That's why it's a good idea to not color until your hair is completely done or the locking process completely finished. If you don't have mature locks, you should not be coloring your hair. And even when you color your hair before you lock, you've altered the natural state of that hair. It is no longer natural once you color it. And then you're trying to install locks and you want the locking process to take place.
Can you install sister locks on colored hair?
You can, but I can tell you, whoo,
I can imagine the thickness would be different.
it is. The whole texture is totally different. Like I said, the hair is not natural anymore. I know what you're thinking. Well, yes it is, it's just colored. It's drier. And from my experience with a lot of clients, color does one or two things to your hair. It's either going to make it more coarse or make it bone straight. It does one or the other. Now, which one are you? I do not know. But a lot of people that I've seen, it makes it bone straight, which therefore does not lock, or it locks very odd and weird, like a flat, lifeless clump of hair.
And then when you do color your locks, as you guys have known on my channel, you've seen me do it a couple times. And the reason why I cut off most of my dyed ends was, like Julia's saying, even when your hair is locked, when you add color, it makes it dead. And y'all saw at the bottom of it that it was a lot thinner and quite noticeably drier when I pointed it out to you guys in comparison to my virgin hair, my untouched hair by colored product. And like Julia said, if you want the least amount of damage possible, go to a professional.
Please go to a professional.
Or if you're a professional and know how to do it on your own head, do that.
That's different. You are a professional.
Yeah. Now, what are your thoughts on like wigs and other forms of hairstyles like braids?
So-called protective styles?
Protective styles with sister locks.
I do not recommend any of them at all. Sorry, I don't. I've seen what they do. That's adding extra weight to your hair. It's adding extra tension to your hair, your already locked hair. And it's causing breakage. It's causing the lock to thin out and to break right in the middle. Who wants that? We want neat, uniform locks from tip to root. We do not want to damage our locks trying to, I guess, have diversity in hairstyles or have a variety in our look. The pipe cleaners, for instance, you can get a curly look. If you want a two-strand twist, you get a wavy look. If you want a roller set and you get nice bossy curls on it. There's so many different ways to achieve a variety of looks without adding hair to it and risking the locks to become damaged. So that's just my recommendation. I understand that you're grown and you're going to do what you want to do. It's your hair. But just be aware that there's side effects to some of the things that we do.
Yeah, well, those are all all the questions I had for today. Julie is great. I will have all of her information to her shop and everything, her pricing. She does take clients from out of town as well, if you fly in or
Right around the corner from the airport. So we can factor that in. I'll pick you up, tighten you up, and send you on your way.
If you like this video, please give it a like, comment down below any questions you'd like me to ask Julia next time, because I know that there are a ton of questions that people have about sister locks in general that I might not have touched on. And as always, I hope you have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world. Bye!